have you realized that you allow yourself to talk and have an internal dialogue and talk to yourself in ways that you will never tolerate other people to talk to you in? You're telling yourself all kinds of things and information and thoughts, and you have an internal dialogue with yourself. But the kind of things that you tell yourself, are actually negative, are limiting, and are overall damaging who you are. And I know that you, in all your senses, you will never allow for people to belittle you. You will never allow for people to doubt you or to say negative or bad things about you. But yet, nonetheless, we, our own selves, have allowed for negativity, for diminishing thoughts, for limiting beliefs to actually permeate not just in our mind, but our entire core, to the innermost parts of ourselves. We have allowed a mindset or a mentality of scarcity. So as a matter of fact, today I want to talk to you about mindset. In particular, I want to cover mindset in scarcity versus abundance. What's a scarcity mentality? Well, a scarcity mentality is a mentality where you are limiting yourself. And an abundance mentality is where you are seeing possibilities, you see positivity, you see greatness, you see resources and answers to any of the dilemmas and the limiting beliefs that you have. So for some of us, we default to a scarcity mentality. How many times you have found yourself saying, I am too old to start a new business. I am too old, to change careers at this point. If that is you, you can type in the comments below and just put there, me too. I usually have that kind of thought, or I often have that kind of mentality. Other times we tell ourselves, I don't have enough money. How can I invest in myself? I don't have enough money. When we could be saying, what can I do to invest in my personal development? When you could be saying or telling yourself, well, I am this age, what can I do at this point in my life? How can I use the experience that I have accumulated for this new season in my life? How can I incorporate all of my experiences, all of my past, all of the things that I have accumulated through 3, 4, 5 decades of my life? How can I implement that into my new career? So my encouragement to you today comes in the form of this episode by telling you that you can change, that you will change, but you have to deal with your mindset first. It's not about the external, it's about the internal. It's not about what other people have, what other people say, what other people do, or what other people think. It is all about how you see yourself. Do you believe that you have what it takes to be successful? Do you believe that you are more than able to do the things and come to realize and implement all of the hopes and the dreams, the projects that you have within you? God Himself has created, a plan and a purpose for your life, but many times, those plans are too great. Those plans, seem impossible. How can I accomplish that? So in a season of my life, I defaulted to scarcity. I defaulted to, I'm too young. Eventually, I'm too old. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have any connections. And as a matter of fact, instead of saying I don't have any connections, I don't know anyone in the industry, Well, a better way of framing that thought is, well, how can I connect? Who can I call? Who do I know? People know people. So there are always ways, to accomplish, and there are always possibilities, to reach and to get to that point where you want to be. So in a season of my life, things crumbled around me, everything that I had and everything that I knew and the plans and the dreams that I had, they all changed within a matter of a few months. I have shared the story before, but I can briefly tell you, it's called the pandemic, 2020, 21, things changed. And I went from having a healthy income to, changing careers because the business that I managed, got sold to a new company. The ministry that I had, actually a nonprofit that I had, did not survive the pandemic. I started dealing with depression, and I had all kinds of, things that were just collapsing around me. And for a season, I went back to that mentality of, what am I going to do now? I am too old. I am no longer, in my 20s when I started my career, when I started my ministry. I am too old, to start looking for other jobs and, the kinds of jobs that would pay well and so on and so on. But, that's a scarcity mentality. Why are you saying I am too old to get a new job? I am too old, to start a new career. When you can actually have your age, your experience, the accumulation of knowledge and wisdom and expertise that you have acquired through the many decades of life. Right now I want to talk to you who think that you are too old. So the thing that I dreaded the most, that I avoided and in a way I delayed, was having that midlife crisis, that so dreaded middle life crisis. So here I am. I found myself in a crisis, financial crisis, identity crisis, career crisis, you name it. But when I confronted the scarcity mentality with an abundance mentality, when I went from I'm too old and I don't have enough money, and how can I invest in myself when I don't have enough? And I changed, what can I do? What careers can I pursue where I can work for myself, where I can make a great income, where I can determine the amount of time that I work and the fee or the prices that I charge for my services? That opened a world of possibilities for me. I realized that through my business acumen, through my ministry experience, through my life experience itself, I have accumulated an expertise, a level of expertise that I can now share with other people. But then it created a new problem. Well, I don't have the resources. I don't have great, an expensive camera. I don't have the perfect lighting. I don't have a recording studio for my videos. I don't have this. I don't have that. Well, instead of, focusing on that, I tackled that mentality with an abundance mentality and said, what do I have? And as a matter of fact, I actually have a video that talks about, use what you have. You have something already. You have resources, you have tools, you have experience, you have expertise, you have something that you can use to get you started. But nonetheless, so I decided, I will not have limitations in my life. I cannot afford to be asking the wrong questions. I don't have time anymore to be stating limiting beliefs. On the contrary, I have to tap into faith. I have to tap into positivity. I have to tap into a mindset of abundance and leave behind that scarcity mentality. And my brother and my sister, that's exactly what I have done. I have invested in myself, and I encourage you to do the same. You don't have time, well, you have to make the time. you don't have the money, well, you have to find ways of creating just a little bit of extra income. How does that look like? Well, it looks differently for different people. For a season, I started doing Uber, and I started selling things, and I started finding ways of making and creating an extra income to supplement while I prepare myself to start my new business. And let me tell you, it makes a big difference how you approach your challenges. Are you tapping into limiting beliefs? Or are you tapping into an abundance mentality? And to explain mindset and mentality, something that we all have. And I know that you have it because you're watching me at this point. You're either watching me on a phone or a tablet or a computer, and you're watching me on a television set, perhaps. All of these devices are called smart devices: a smartphone, a tablet, a computer, a laptop, and so on. So, did you know, and you probably do, that they have an operating system? They have a ton of programming behind them. They have a ton of tools and systems that altogether is called an operating system. So you are very aware that from time to time, your phone needs an upgrade. The operating system in your phone needs an upgrade. So if you see that concept, your mindset and your mentality is like an operating system. So it needs to be upgraded sometimes. It needs to be improved. It needs to be reset. It needs to, sometimes there are glitches in the system and they have to be fixed. So see yourself as you have an operating system already. That is your mindset, your framework, your mentality, who you are. And it's comprised of so many elements. You have your core values, you have your belief systems, you have your perceptions, you have frameworks, you have habits, and so on. The list goes on and on. So you have a mentality, you have a mindset. But sometimes, even in the natural world, we are predispositioned sometimes for either scarcity mentality or abundance mentality. So I understand and I get that. Some people have a tendency to be negative, while some other people are very optimistic by nature. But we can actually change, and we can actually improve our mindset and mentality. There's a term in the computer world and computer science, information technology, that is the concept of garbage in, garbage out. So what kind of stuff are you allowing into your life? What kind of thoughts are you entertaining in your mind? What kind of beliefs are you embracing? That will determine the outcome. So if you put incorrect information into a computer, you know what? You're going to get incorrect outcomes out of that computer. So it is the same concept. So I encourage you today, begin working in your mindset, in your mentality. Invest in yourself. There are so many things that you can do. Books, you can watch videos, you can listen to podcasts, and so on. So there are many things that you can actually do that will influence and will impact your mentality. You have to revise and review your core values and the belief system that you have. What is it that you hold true? What is it that you consider, that is a good element in your life? A good belief in your life. So I know that you have plans, and I know that you have ideas. Perhaps you want to start a new business. Perhaps you want to switch careers and so on. So I encourage you today, work on your mindset. The Bible says that we are to take every thought, captive to the mind of Christ. And I don't know if you believe in the Bible or not, but what I do and who I am, I try to base my life and my business, implementing and using biblical principles. And I know that this actually works. You have to fight. In order for you to captivate or to capture a thought, you have to conquer it. You have to fight it. You have to win over that thought or that mentality. So I know that abundance mentality will take you to the next level, while a scarcity mentality will keep you stagnant. And you have already wasted time. You have wasted many years already, my friend. So do not waste another day of your life. Do not entertain negativity. Do not entertain any thoughts or any patterns that are not working, that are not getting you any results, and start moving towards an abundance mindset, an abundance mentality. So if there's anything that I can do for you, with the content that I create, you can always, reach out to me through my social platforms. You can always, leave a comment in the comment section below. And I do offer my services as a life coach. We can work together and work on your mindset, work on that mentality of yours, work on clarity and see what steps you need to take, to move on to that next level. So my friend, I hope that this content and this episode has blessed you, even if it's in a small, little way. That would be scarcity mentality, but hopefully it blessed you in a great way. That will be an abundance mentality. So my brother, I will catch you in the next video. And until then, I really hope that you are blessed. Be blessed, my brother.